is not loaded. I just put the magazine there so you guys can see what it looks like. This is a Wasser 10. This is one of the older ones with the canted, it has a sight that's slightly canted. That was common with Wasser 10s that are pre-2007, 2008 time frame. As you can kind of see there, it's a little off, but you know, punch the sight a little bit one way or the other and it shoots still just fine. It's pretty accurate at 100 yards, at 50, and even sometimes at 100 yards. Kind of depends on the ammo that you put in it, but in any event. Okay, so here's the next gun. This is my the first of the Mosin Nagants that I'll show you. This is, of course, the carbine M38. Is that right? Yeah, it's the M38. Obviously, shorter. It's the one, it's much shorter. It's got a lot of wallop when you shoot it. I can see how it'd be an uncomfortable gun for most people in the Soviet Union to use, even as a backup weapon for, or weapon for the folks that are support troops or in artillery or whatnot. Of course, it's the one without the bayonet. And this one, I believe, is made in 43. Let's see. Yeah, actually, this is that 43? Yeah, I think that's 43. Izhevsk, it's, you know, nothing fancy. I'll have a more lengthier video on this and the M44 that I got. I got them both together at the same time from CAI, Century Arms. Now let's get this one out. This is the M44. This is a rare bird, though, because it was manufactured in 1943. As you can see here. And look at that receiver. See if we can get that. Yeah, that's 1943. Now you may be saying, well, it's an M44. Why doesn't it have 1944 or some year after that? Well, that's because this, my friends, is a Mosin Nagant M44 that was one of 50,000 apparently made in 43 as test rifles to be used in the field before they went to full production. So it's kind of rare, and it was completely by accident for the longest time. I didn't even notice the fact that it was the year before. I just assumed, maybe it was just an early model. But not only is it an early model, it's only one of 50,000. They made like about 7 million of these, so it makes it kind of unique. But we'll cover those in a separate video. Alright, so this is the first of what I call the triplets. This is an M91 30. And technically, I guess you call it ex-Dragoon. I don't know if that's entirely appropriate, but that's kind of what people typically call it. This is a 1927 Tula. And you can see that's not a marking you see very often, folks. It's definitely got the Hex Receiver, and it's very nice. I got this with two other Hex Receiver Mosins, all from the same guy at the same time. And it was one of the few instances where I bought one of these using my CNR license and knew exactly what I was getting. Because a lot of times you can ask for this, but you don't necessarily know what you're going to get, even if you pay extra. But let's get these other ones out. Whoop. Triple over stuff here. Tisk tisk. This next one is another ex-Dragoons or hexagonal receiver type Mosin. Let's see if I can get this to come out. This is a 1926 Izhevsk, and you can see it's got all the old markings, so it's nice and unique. There's another feature about this 1926 model. It has got the smoothest, shiniest bore imaginable. I've never seen a Mosin Nagant with those bores smooth and nice and clean and shiny as this one. So that, and it has another feature that's unique, and I'll disassemble it sometime and show it to you. Either this one or the other one I have in there that's a 1924 model. It's built on a Sestroyetsk receiver, an 1899 Sestroyetsk receiver, which is really, really rare. I mean, it's hard to find those complete rifles like that to begin with. The fact that I was able to get this, and the guy who sold it to me, I don't even think he knew it was a Sestroyetsk receiver. He just said, it's just a 1926 model, you know, ex-Dragoon. Alright, here we go. Here is a 1924 Hex Receiver, ex-Dragoon, whatever you want to call it. This one doesn't have quite as good of a bore or barrel, but I keep it because it's frankly the oldest rifle I have. In all honesty, it's the oldest rifle, and actually the bore is okay on that one. I mean, the thing of it is, these triplets are Hex Receiver rifles, and a lot of the hexagonal receiver rifles, you really didn't see a whole lot of service. A lot of them were just kind of warehouse or storage for the longest period of time for some eventual fight. So it's not uncommon to see really shiny bores like that. It's just nice. It was a nice little added bonus for the fact that I got a bunch of old rifles here for pretty affordable price. I think I paid, oh, maybe $300 for all three of them, maybe a little bit more, which is not bad. You couldn't get hex receiver rifles like that now. I got those, I guess, 6 years ago. Anywho, and finally we have, I won't say it's a coup de grace, but it's certainly the rifle I like shooting the most. This is a Mosin Nagant M91 30. This too is a 43 model. Well, it seems to have a lot of 43 model Mosins. That's not by design, that's just by accident. But as you can see, this is a reproduction sniper rifle. It is not an actual sniper rifle. I'm not going to pass it off as that. I know full well that based on the price I paid for and based on the description, that this is just a Mosin Nagant that some guys in the Ukraine, I guess, had some extra scopes on, drilled some holes, put the scope on, and then sold it. I'm not going to say it's the most accurate rifle I have. Out of all these Mosins, it's probably better than most, except maybe that 1926 model up there. But it's still a fun shooter, and it's relatively accurate, especially if you use surplus ammo. In fact, one thing I have noticed over the years, all these Mosin Nagants seem to really work better with the 150 grain, surplus ammo, preferably the Russian kind. I have seen that the Russian versus the, I don't know, the Romanian or whatever Eastern Bloc stuff that they usually find for $88 or $90, that the Russian stuff really does seem to shoot better in these guns. At least the ones I have, although I've seen it the other way too, where the Eastern Bloc stuff is pretty good as well. But in any event, as you can see, this collection is very heavily Soviet firearms oriented. That's okay, that's why it's called the Mosin Minute, guys. So in any event, that's my collection. It used to be bigger. I had two more rifles. I've had like 3 or 4 other Mosin Nagants that I've either given away to relatives or sold. I sold one along with my 1903 A3 Springfield rifle, which I was really proud of, but man, it was really expensive, and I needed to buy a new camera, which is the camera I'm using right now. And so I sold those 2 rifles plus a P64, the little P64 pistol that shoots the Tokarev ammo, Polish pistol or whatever. It's a nice little concealed carry gun. It's really nice for that, but I just don't like how it handles and shoots, so I just said, you know what, that's going to be it. So I sold those puppies, and that's how I helped pay for this camera. I need the camera for other things as well, not just for gun stuff. So anyway, that's all she wrote.